Estonia has temporarily closed access for its citizens to a road they normally use that passes through a stretch of Russian territory, after the interior minister reported on a group of Russian soldiers standing there, Estonia's public broadcaster said Sunday. According to Associated Press, Estonia's Police and Border Guard Board said in a statement Friday that the closing took place that day, after border guards observed a larger-than-usual unit moving on the territory of the Russian Federation. The Estonian border agency said that the closure of the Saatse Boot is necessary to ensure the safety of people in Estonia and to prevent possible incidents. The Saatse Boot in southeastern Estonia is a small, boot-shaped area of Russian territory extending into Estonia. Estonians and other citizens can drive through the area without a permit, but are not allowed to stop. Estonian media reported that the Russian unit was made up of about 10 men. While Russian border patrols are normal in the area, it is unusual for them to stand in the middle of the road that is also used by Estonians, media reports said. Interior Minister Igor Taro was quoted as saying Saturday that the Russian soldiers had left the area again. He added that the situation was calm but that the road would remain closed at least until Tuesday. Estonia has been on alert for Russian border incursions after 3 Russian fighter aircraft entered its airspace without permission last month and stayed there for 12 minutes. A week earlier, Russian drones violated Poland's airspace in the most serious cross-border incident involving a NATO member since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Other NATO countries on the bloc's eastern flank have reported similar incursions and drone crashes on their territory. The Israeli military released a video on Sunday that it claimed showed troops and tanks operating along the agreed lines inside the Gaza Strip. According to Associated Press, preparations were also underway Sunday for the release of Israeli hostages held in Gaza and Palestinian prisoners held in Israel. A message sent Saturday from Gal Hirsch, Israel's coordinator for the hostages and the missing and obtained by the AP, told hostage families to prepare for the release of their loved ones starting Monday morning. One of the families of the hostages confirmed the note's authenticity. Hirsch said preparations in hospitals and in Re'im camp were complete to receive the live hostages, while the dead will be transferred to the Institute of Forensic Medicine for identification. An international task force will start working to locate deceased hostages who are not returned within the 72-hour period, said Hirsch. Officials have said the search for the bodies of the dead, some of whom may be buried under rubble, could take time. Israeli officials believe about 20 of the hostages out of 48 held by Hamas and other Palestinian factions in Gaza are still alive. All of the living hostages are expected to be released Monday.
In Dnipropetrovsk region, Ukrainian counterattacks have begun to blunt a slow Russian push and are now forcing a rethink of Moscow's east to west axis. The fighting is concentrated around 2 core battles that together will decide whether Russian gains translate into an operational breakthrough or Ukrainians can form a shield defending the open fields of a new oblast. Euromaidan press media outlet says the main Russian goal in this sector is to secure ground inside the Dnipropetrovsk region that can be used as bargaining leverage in any future negotiations and, if possible, to press westward toward Zaporizhia city from the east. Securing villages and staging areas across the administrative border would let Russian leadership claim forward momentum and create lines on the map that could be traded politically, while also opening avenues for follow-on mechanized advances if Ukrainian lines collapse. Notably, Ukrainian defense belts in the Zaporizhia and Dnipropetrovsk regions are primarily oriented to resist assaults coming from the south and the southwest. Therefore, pushing from the east allows Russian units to attempt to outflank prepared positions and exploit seams in local defenses. However, it is important to note that at their fastest point, Russian forces only advanced roughly 6 kilometers locally in 1 month. While this is faster than in all other sectors, it is still far from short of operational maneuver speed. As two battles now define the immediate fighting, Euromaidan press says, in the north, Zelenski has been a grinding fight for months as Russian forces repeatedly attack into the village to establish a foothold that would serve as a launch pad for further assaults. Primarily, Russian forces seek to use the settlement to move into 3 larger settlements of Havrilivka, Ivanivka, and Novopavlivka, whose dispersed buildings are a prime target for Russian infiltrators to accumulate in. Still, Ukrainian defenders have turned every attempt into a costly affair. As a result, any incremental territorial gains by Russian units that manage to evade Ukrainian drones are consistently reduced and contested, as Ukrainian defenders hold the most ideal defensive position in the current sector, unwilling to give it up. To the south, where Russian forces have started advancing rapidly through a series of tree lines, Ukrainian counterattacks have recaptured Sosnivka, Veron, and several nearby hamlets. These counterattacks were preceded by an intense coordinated artillery barrage, suppressing and eliminating Russian infantry moving unprotected in the open. Overall, Ukrainian counterattacks in the Velika-Novosilka axis have so far done what they were designed to do: blunt forward momentum, recapture key villages, and prevent Russian staging zones from becoming secure bases of operations. However, these operations go much further than tactical displays of an active defense, as it has bought Ukrainians, drone units in particular, the necessary time to set up and start conducting operations. Euromaidan press says, with the mud season approaching, the low-lying river area will soon turn into deep mud, and the limited road networks into devastating kill zones for Ukrainian drones to wreak havoc onto.